But the first thing I want to do is introduce you to Jason. He is the owner of Moto Mews, this incredible venue. He's kindly lent us it for the date of the filming in, and I think it's only fair we give you some screen time to tell us why Moto Mews.
Welcome. It's good to have you all here. We started 6 months ago, opened our doors, and the whole passion project has turned into what you see here. It started as an idea of me having let's say a storage facility into a cool looking space for my own collection. And then it just started snowballing. The ideas started coming. We found this amazing space. We did a lot of work, and the rest is history right now. We've got tens of clients now. We're keeping it kind of small and cult-like, and then we're just going to grow as the community grows, see what the bikers want and need, and take it from there.
So you mentioned some of your own collection. So some of these bikes yours, are they owned?
The only one that's mine here is the Paris-Dakar 1989 over there, the R100 GS, and I'm a bit of an airhead kind of freak. So I've got 9 classic BMWs in South Africa, from GSs to the R90S, I've got 3 of them, 1974, 5 and 6, the Daytona Orange and the Smoked Silver, R80 and R100S. I just love that lineage. I know how to fix, let's say 50% of the problems, and the other problems I fix on the road.
Well, you should send me some pictures of those so I can put them on so people can see what those bikes look like, because that's quite a cool collection of bikes, vintage stuff. So the rest of these then are customers that are storing them here, is that the idea? Right, yeah. So that's one of the premises of the venue is cold storage for people over winter and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So we've got private clients and business clients. So if it's excess stock that dealerships have, a few of these are from businesses like that. And then private clients, over winter is our most popular. We keep them on trickle charge, so battery management. We dehumidify within the air pocket that's created by these covers, and then we offer a 4-month package. So they drop them off, as winter starts, and then pick them up ready to ride. We also offer a service of keeping them, operational. So we start them once a month, and if there's any issues that pop up during that process, then we chat to the clients about it. We have some services that we attach on, like valeting services, anti-corrosion coating, ceramic coating. So as clients and members want to start, adding some things to the packages, then I'm all ears, and that's what we're here for. I'm passionate. The people who store their bikes are passionate, and it's easy from there.
Amazing. I think you should show us some of your favourite bikes. I think you need to.
Besides my favourite bike being mine.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Pick one. If you could take one out for a spin, which one's it going to be? What's your?
Probably the Triumph. Now.
The Rocket 3?
Yes, the Rocket 3. This is privately owned by Mark, and I thought that the R1200 GS was a big bike until I sat on that and rode that a little bit. So it feels like a tractor. So when the engine's not on, it's a behemoth.
Yeah.
I think this is a 2.3. Yeah, I think there's also 2.5. But I would love to take this on the road. I don't know much about it, because I always parked it aside as, okay, it's not for me. But I met at a festival a few years ago, I met a man who rode around the world on a Rocket 3.
Wow.
And his name has just dropped off my mind. But seeing that story about riding around the world on a Rocket 3 and then having one at Moto Mews, that little, I think most bikers have it, that little voice at the back of their head that kind of gets to you when you're trying to sleep, that says maybe it's time to buy another bike.
That might be it.
That might be it, yeah.
Wicked.
Absolutely.
And you've got the space over there that you've just sort of started opening up, haven't you? So that's got a project bike in it. This is going to be a new area you're trying to offer in.
That's right. So we're testing out. We've got a lot of feedback saying, can I tinker on my bike? Can I do a little service? Space, is a problem for a lot of bikers. To have the tools available, to have just the space to maneuver around the bike, take things off, and this is what we can offer going forward. So this is a test case now, a Honda VFR. There's a restoration process that's going to happen over the next few months. Very special story about that particular bike. And then we're going to use that as, what does the owner want, what kind of tools, and then be able to build that into the service.
Yeah.
Once we're happy with that, we've got another bay If we need a third, we might expand. And then this will become a nice little members workshop area. Nice. We'll have the set of tools over there. We'll call in mechanics, periodically if they need some assistance. And then we've got the lounge area, coffee making, got a screen, a projector, and we'll have some events and really make it a community hub and a moto hub.
That's awesome. You were saying you've driven past a few times and didn't know it was here.
Yeah, often going up into the Peak District. I've ridden past there loads of times and never knew it was. I knew that the British Car Journey place existed, which is just up there, wasn't it? But I didn't know that this existed at all.
One of my faults is keeping it a little quiet. So it's just building up that member base and then word of mouth. Just gets a nice solid foundation. And
you want the right people to know about it.
That's
not the
right.
Wrong people. I get it.
The online marketing and kind of dealing with the algorithms and then getting up the Google list. It's just a whole science, a dark art that I haven't ventured into. Yeah. And I feel like that time may come in the future, or I'll tinker a bit. But I want the core to be a soul, kind of a connected from the ground, physically.
Do it the old school way.
Exactly. Yeah. Word of mouth is what we're going for.
Well, it's an absolutely immense venue. I love it. It's cool.
It's amazing.
I love this little Yamaha 125. I think that's class.
Oh yeah, old trial bike.
Yeah, that's wicked.
Yes.
Okay, that's Moto Mews, I think. Why Moto? What was the question? Why Moto Mews?
Why Moto Mews?
There you go. I think that answers the question. Well, if you've stuck around this far, we're going to dive into meet and feel now. That is the purpose of this video, this episode of Talk About It. So, over to the sofas, I think. So, okay, let's get to the point of this video then. So let's introduce who you are then, Phil. So, this is Phil. Handing over to you. Tell us a bit about your journey into biking. What got you onto two wheels?
Well, I probably look like someone who's been riding a motorbike all my life, but I haven't. I'm 72 and I didn't pass my test till I was 62. And the reason it took me so long to get to that point was that when I was 16, I knew how to ride a motorbike and I wanted to buy one. But my dad, in his wisdom probably, basically said, if you don't get a motorbike, I'll pay for your car lessons.
Yes.
Because he had been a biker himself and knew that me as a 16-year-old probably would have killed myself or hurt myself.
Yeah.
So basically, and I would have done the same. So, but that desire to have a motorbike was always there, but then other things come along, don't they? Like job, family, couldn't justify spending money on buying a bike. But there came a point when I was about 60, I don't know why, I just thought I have to buy a motorbike, and my wife and my daughters didn't want me to, but I just...
Yeah, you forced ahead with it.
So I went out and I did my test, and then I went out and bought a Honda NC 500, which I really enjoyed. Probably should have bought a smaller bike, because from zero to even a bike like that, it's quite a step up. So, but I really enjoyed it, and I knew it was, it was the right decision for me to get the license. But what I then quite quickly realized was that actually I need some more training here, because, I can ride the bike, but if I'm not careful, I will hurt myself.
Yeah. And
a few times I frightened myself. So that led me into doing an advanced course with the IAM, Institute of Advanced Motorcyclists. And that was a really, really good thing to do. And so what that gives you is the ability to ride progressively. You become a better biker. You can be quicker if you want to be, but it's all about riding safely.
Your whole journey into biking, I can massively relate to, and you've probably seen the video I did talking about learning to ride at 40. It's a very similar story. Obviously, just for context to the viewers, I know Phil from growing up. He's been with family friends. You know my dad. We've sort of been in each other's lives for many years. It's funny hearing Phil's story about it, because you'll know my brother had an accident at 16.
I do, yeah, absolutely.
So my dad wasn't the same as your dad. My dad went out and helped him pick his first 50cc twist and go.
Yeah.
Got him on the road, helped subsidise the cost of it, give him all the lessons he needed to be safe. And Joe, my brother well enough to know that in one ear out the other. And within a year, 2 accidents, one of them was life-threatening. To say the least. So that put me off bikes for a very long time, but very similar to yourself. I've got to the age of 38 and passed my licence in 36. I've been doing it for about 2 and a bit years. Before that, I did 18 months on a 125. But the same desire you had, always wanting one,
Yeah.
Always admiring from a distance, always thinking, I'll get one of these one day. And then finally just pulling the trigger and doing something with myself.
Yeah, and for me, I don't, I knew it wasn't a fad.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to do it. And as soon as I got the bike, at that time I was working, and I used to travel around quite a lot, and it was a collar and tie job suit. I would put the suit in the top box, go and do whatever I needed to do, and then so I used the bike not just as a hobby, but it was my main
mode
means
of transport. That's exactly what I did as well. So I got the 125 to start with. I thought I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to fully go in and be like, I've laid out all this money and I hate it. It doesn't fit in with my lifestyle. And I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought it would. So I bought the 125, and I did the same. I was commuting to work with the 125, and backpack on with my work clothes. And there was one day, actually, I turned up to work without my trainers. So I spent the whole day in a pair of RST S1 proper motorbike boots. And looking at me like I had two heads. So
I enjoy it. So rather than I used to have to go, I worked in Leicester. So it's not a lot. I mean, probably 15, 20 miles there and then 20 miles back. But the difference is that in a car, it was just a pain driving. On the bike, it was like, it was a nice start to the day. So when I got to work and changed into my suit,
you'd done something for yourself.
I'd had a bit of an adventure on the way.
Yeah, it's not just giving you time to work; it's you getting up and doing something.
It's only 8:46, but it was an enjoyable start to the day, and I enjoyed coming back at night, for example. So it's not just about. It is a kind of adventure, isn't it?
I can relate to the bike point you mentioned as well, because you bought the NC 500. You say you started with. Yeah. So I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm feeling like I should do the advanced rider course, because I jumped straight in, and I bought the Monster 821 as my first proper bike. I'd obviously had the 125 for a little bit, but it was 18 months, about 800 miles. I really didn't cover much on it. So to then get straight onto the Monster was a bit of an eye.
I'd recommend it to anybody, no matter how long they've been riding, to just do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody who's not found it very, very valuable. And some people have been riding a long time. It's transformed their riding.
I was going to ask, so what do they focus on? So if I'm your typical rider, I do all my stuff that I did for my Mod 1 and Mod 2. I'm always aware of the training they've given me. I try not to get into bad habits, but what sort of stuff are they focusing on? If you do this advanced riding,
it's all about getting the basics right. But the things where it helped me, for example, was looking well ahead, anticipating issues, getting the right line through bends, slow riding, for example, which it's not hard, is it, to ride a bike in a straight line fast? You just twist the throttle. But actually, slow riding is a real art, isn't it? So it's all that kind of thing that they help with. But lovely, it was to do with anticipating things, looking well ahead, but also when if it's 60 and it's safe to do 60, you do 60. You don't draw it along at 45. So a lot of the riders do become. They talk about progressive riding, keeping the pace going. But there's also a social aspect to it as well, because it's a club.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody uses it like that. Many people will just do the qualification and that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm still in it to some extent. But they have ride outs. I've been away, motorcycling around Wales, the borders. Yeah. So there's that aspect of it, and you're riding with people who have a high level of skill.
So you feel safer rather than
and you watch them, don't you? Yeah. When I first joined it, and I used to go on, say, when we went to Wales, I'd stay at the back and watch the people ahead of me and follow the same line and do what they did. And you learn by practicing, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do.
And also, I think motorcycling is something that you can't say, well, I'm really good now. No, you're not. It's always work in progress, in my view. Yeah. You're always, and that's part of the pleasure.
Well, I think part of the danger
trying to ride well all the time.
Part of the danger comes when you think you're the best rider. No. That's when you see the people coming unstuck, doing something silly, making a bad decision. I don't think I'm a good rider by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that's what keeps my head screwed on when I'm riding.
And within the advanced motorcyclist group, there is you can then go on to be a. They don't use the word instructor; they call it observers. You can then help develop other people. There's something called a master's qualification, which is the highest level of motorcycle qualification outside of the police force. Okay. So you can really, if that's what you want,
really wanted to,
you can really, and you have some fantastic motorcyclists there.
Hello, sorry for the interruption. I just need to give a quick shout out to the channel's main sponsor, which is True Tension. As you guys know, they have been backing me since day one on this channel, and they've done the same for this video. They have backed this video, and they've allowed me to send out some freebies to Phil as a thank you for taking part in the project. So I'm going to show you what they sent out to him, And I put a little promo code on the screen here where you guys are able to get 30% off from True Tension for anything you need, whether it's security, maintenance tools, or cleaning stuff, as I'm about to go through, that we're sending out to Phil. So I'll just give you a quick look at what we're sending out. This is what Phil can expect in the post. We put together a bit of a cleaning bundle for him. So we've got the chain cleaner, as well as the chain lube, a cleaning brush, the grime guard, and to finish it all off, a bit of a silicone spray there that he can use on all his plastics to make sure his bike stays nice and shiny and looking at its absolute best. So that's all winging itself in the post to you there, Phil. For you guys as viewers, if you want to get yourself a bundle or anything like that from the guys on the website, there is now going to be a code somewhere on the screen. I'll put a 30% off code. That will get you guys 30% off any products that you buy from True Tension through my affiliate links below. You'll not pay a penny more than the asking price while it is an affiliate link, but I'll get a little bit of a kickback from the guys at True Tension. It's worth mentioning that. So you can get 30% off. I'll make a little bit of commission, and that commission allows me to keep making this free-to-view content here on the channel. Anyway, we'll get back to the video now. We'll jump back to Phil, and we're going to find out what bike he bought and why he bought it.
I mean, my bike is a Triumph Tiger.
What made you go down the road of the Tiger? What did the bike need to do for you to pick the Triumph Tiger as your?
Well, I had the Honda, which was a really nice bike, but I did want a bit more power, actually.
Okay.
And I really like the look of the Triumph Tiger. And I tried several bikes, and it's one of the, sometimes you know yourself when you get on a motorbike, it either fits or it doesn't, doesn't it? And as soon as I sat on the Triumph Tiger, I thought this is the perfect bike for me. It's an 800cc, and it's 2018. 800cc engine, and it's you sit bolt upright basically. Yeah. It's got cruise control. It's got some technology, but not too much technology, which is I like.
It's a great looking bike.
It's an adventure bike, and that's I do like. I do go down to the shops on my motorbike, but also I like going off.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you next, because you've told me when we were communicating about sorting this out about a trip you've done. Like a big adventure, you took that bike on. It was a solo ride, am I right? It was a...
Yeah. I
tell the viewers.
I like riding in groups, but I actually like riding on my own a lot. And I get a lot of pleasure just going out on my own, whether it's just for 2 or 3 hours or on a longer journey. So I did, in comparison to some people, I haven't done a lot, but I've ridden the bike to, I went to Luxembourg on it. I did the North Coast 500 on my own. Yeah. And so the last long trip that I did was a bit unusual, really, because I'm quite interested in the First World War, and I read an article in the paper about 5 years ago about a Scottish soldier called Douglas Gillespie, and I happen to have a picture of him here. That's Douglas Gillespie here.
Wow.
Yeah. Douglas Gillespie and his brother Tom were in the Argyll and Southern Highlanders, and at the beginning of the First World War, went to France and found themselves on the Western Front. And the guy, this Douglas, was a big letter writer, and he wrote to his parents to say that he hoped that when the war was over, they would turn the Western Front into a path of peace. Oh, nice. Like a modern-day pilgrimage. Yeah. Much needed at the minute, I would have thought. Yeah. Unfortunately, they were both killed. He was killed first. No, his brother Tom was killed first, and then Douglas Gillespie was killed after that. And the idea of a path of peace never came to fruition until about 4 or 5 years ago, when the historian Anthony Selden picked up on the idea and established something called the Western Way Association. Okay. And decided he would walk the length of the Western Front, which goes all the way from Switzerland, from a place called Fetterhouse, all the way through northern France, or northeastern France, up to the Belgian coast. And he wrote a book about the walk. I bought the book. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm not going to walk it, because it's not a great walk anyway, to be honest. I thought, I could do that on a motorbike. Yeah, it's a long walk. It is a long walk. It's a long ride. But so it's quite, it took me, that's what I did. And I rode over to Switzerland. Yeah. I've got a friend who lives near the Swiss border. And then, so that took 2 days on the motorway to get there. And then I took my time using his book, Anthony Selden's book, as my guide. That's awesome. So I followed his route on the motorbike. As close as you could on the bike. So it took me through Alsace, through the Vosges Mountains, which is fantastic motorcycling, actually. Yeah. If you want twisters, the Vosges is the place to go. Than that. Then through Verdun, the battle, the big battle, the French battle, the First World War, through the Champagne area, up through the Somme, Artois, into Belgium, and to the coast. So it was a really, really interesting trip, and I really enjoyed doing it on my own, actually. So after that, I'm very involved in Nottingham French Society, Anglo-French Society, quite an active member, and we have guest speakers. We have about 10 or 12 speakers in the course of the year who will give a talk on some aspect of French life or culture in French. I happen to be a French speaker.
Oh, you're an ex-French teacher.
Yeah, I'm an ex-French teacher. So I thought that would make a really interesting talk. So I gave the talk in French to Nottingham Anglo-French Society. And I think people enjoyed it because, something else I could show you, what motivated me as well was, because it was a person, I wanted to find out about this man, what happened to him.
So who's this?
My grandfather.
Oh.
Who was in the First World War. So I wanted to know a little bit more about what his experience had been. And I also wanted people from Nottingham. This is Albert Ball, who was a pilot, a Nottingham pilot, who was killed in France in the First World War. So that there was a kind of, part of the journey was quite personal about my grandfather, but it was also about this Nottingham pilot. So I think that, the personal aspect of it, plus the motorbike, because there's no shortage of people who do talks about First World War. Yeah. But actually the fact that you do it on a motorbike gives it a different angle. And actually Albert Ball was a big motorcyclist.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, there's a connection.
Yeah, he was, yeah. So I did this talk in French, and then had contact with other French societies around the country. And since then I've been to Bristol and Birmingham and other places to do the same talk, and I found it really, really interesting.
Are you still doing the talk?
I am.
Still
and
offering it
then since then, I thought, well, I am actually English. Yeah. So I've now been doing it in English
as well,
to other places. So it seems to become a bit grown, a bit so.
So can people still book onto that as well if they wanted to?
Yeah. Well, if they speak French, they can have it in French at various French societies. But I've been doing it around a lot of University of Third Age. One of the most interesting talks I did was Albert Ball was at Nottingham High School.
Yeah.
And I know the head of modern languages at Nottingham High School, so I did it in French to her sixth formers.
Oh, wicked.
And that was really interesting because I'm doing the talk, and in the room next door, in the corridor, there's a plaque commemorating Albert Ball having been a pupil there, although he was actually expelled. But we'll go through all that because he was a rebel, because he was a motorcyclist.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, there we are. So that's been really. I've really enjoyed that. So.
And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the connection to motorcycling then, because you probably wouldn't have ridden the route, you wouldn't have walked it.
I wasn't going to walk it. No. I'm into cycling, but I wasn't going to cycle it either, because a lot of it is along the main roads and what have you. And I just thought, that would be, it's a different angle.
Yeah. Biking sort of opened up a door to something that you've experienced, a life experience, as it were.
And it gives you a lot of flexibility, doesn't it? And I think the thing about motorcycling for me, and again, I don't know other people think, well, doing that, it is quite a nice solitary thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's contemplative, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about riding a motorbike, you can't completely switch off, can you?
No, but it does shut certain noises down in your head, doesn't it? It gets you to focus.
It's a stress buster, it's your time on your own.
I know how I feel when I've come back after a ride, where I don't know, it's a weird thing. I've been for a long ride on my own, I've had some time away from stuff, and I come back in and I'm more present with my wife and children. Like, I'm a bit more aware of what's happening. I'm a bit more, I've had my time, I'm back to the door, chores can wait, I'm going to sit and play Lego or build something with my kids.
There's actually nothing, I think it's quite a unique experience. Yeah. And not people think, motorbikes, they're dangerous. Yeah, of course it is, but actually there's a great pleasure in going out on the bike and riding it well.
Yes.
Not fast, just riding it well.
Going back and feeling safe after that ride,
and then, you can go out, if you want to go down the motorway, you can do that. You can go out into the countryside for an hour and just, you can ride slowly so you smell the flowers and all the rest of it. So it is really, really unique kind of experience thing to do. And I think a lot of motorcyclists understand. If you haven't ridden a motorbike, you don't get that.
Yeah.
A lot
Those of us that have ridden them and experienced it.
And it's good for people. There's the whole issues around particularly men's mental health.
Yeah.
And a lot of men benefit from riding motorbikes, actually.
100%.
It keeps their heads together, actually.
There's a motorcycle mental health or something like that. There's an actual group dedicated to helping men with their mental health.
Yeah.
Dedicated around biking, isn't there? There's a whole group of people that work
And there's
in that
military.
area.
In the military, there's a lot of ex-servicemen and women ride motorbikes, and motorcycling is used as a way of helping people who've got PTSD, for example. So there's a strong kind of community sense also within motorcyclists, I think.
Yeah. I think that leads on to my final point, and I'm going to ask everyone that does these videos, is to kind of just tell the viewers, if you've not experienced riding, basically trying to encourage people to get into riding. What does riding bring you individually that you want these people to know about that might be dipping their toe into riding? What's going to push them over the line to go and get their test?
I think, again, for me, well, like I said, for me, it can be a lot of things, can't it? It's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
I have to say, for me, and it sounds a bit of a strange thing to say, when you get to a certain age, people are saying to me, they don't say it, but you say, well, you're 72, Phil, do you really need to ride a big motorbike like that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
I quite like that idea that I'm not closing down to stuff. I'm actually going the other way.
Yeah,
I'm open
to more
things.
experiences.
So for me, that is slightly rebellious, maybe as well.
Yeah.
Because most of my friends don't ride motorbikes, so I like that feeling.
Yeah.
What we said earlier, I think it can be very meditative.
Yeah.
Strangely, it sounds very pretentious, doesn't it? But
I don't think it sounds pretentious. I think that's the truth. It's an experience that we've both lived and experienced on the bike. So it's not. Yeah.
The closest thing I've come to it is, and I haven't done a lot, is rock climbing. Whereas rock climbing, you have to think about your moves like you do in a motorbike, because if you don't, you're going to fall off.
Yeah.
But in that concentration, there's a quietness. And you get that from motorbiking. So I think it's freedom. There is that. You can, and so I'm thinking, having done that trip to Western Front, what could I do next?
What's next?
Actually, your world is your oyster, isn't it? I'm thinking, I'd like to ride over the Alps, or down the west coast of Ireland, or on my own.
Yeah.
And that I get excited about that.
About the prospect of doing that.
So I think if you have that kind of mindset, it is great. And of course, there are risks, but hey, you can mitigate them against them by doing advanced quarters and riding in a defensive way, not a defensive way, but just in an aware manner.
state. Yeah.
So I would encourage anybody to do it. And I think particularly, I'd think more women riding motorbikes.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm hoping to cover on this channel at some point. I want to try and get a female rider on to talk about getting into riding from a female's perspective, because I've only got my lived experience from how I've gone into it, and the people that I tend to meet tend to be males. So it would be great to get someone on from that background to give their lived experience on the channel. At some point.
The other thing I would say is that people think, motorbike, it's got to be it doesn't have to be a big motorbike.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. You're right.
No.
We were saying this before we started filming about the older bikes. It doesn't have to be the all singing, all dancing, latest and greatest, fastest sports bike on the road.
If you want to go and buy a Honda, Super Cub or something, ride around France, you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the latest £20,000 BMW GS.
I actually had a comment on my last video from a guy who's doing a ride with his son. They've both got 125s. They've come to biking in the later years. 125s. They're going South Wales to North Wales. To North Wales on 125s, and you can do that.
And also,
it doesn't have to be the fastest.
Yeah, the other bike I did have was a Royal Enfield 350 Classic, which I should never have sold, but that was a beautiful bike to ride because it's very simple, single cylinder, not a lot of technology. I think it had a fuel gauge, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Or did it? I can't remember. But but a wonderful bike to ride. You wouldn't go as quickly as you would on my Triumph, but that's not the point.
That's not the point.
So there is something out there for everybody.
Yeah. I think that summarises it nicely. I think that can be the end point. There's something out there for everybody. So thank you very much for your time, Phil. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Do really appreciate your time. If you like this video, then drop a like below. Make sure you've subscribed. You can click my face over here. You'll be able to subscribe to the channel by clicking that. I've put another video at the top here as well. There'll be another one linking back to probably the first one of these Talk About It sessions where we met Glyn and his life and journey into biking as well. If you've not done so already as well, make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts on biking. That's the light gone off. That seems like the perfect time to end the video. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we see you all in the next one.